Do this shit every day. Whoa. Got them hard raps, B. And if you didn't know, bitch, I'm trying to please. So I just try and I'm down when I'm rolling the knees. And if you think you got it fresh, well, you ain't got it, G. So what's up going? What's you doing? Why are you even here? Time to let it go, and I'm getting the flow, and everybody knows I'm doing my day. Yo. Oh, wait. It's you guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Best Worst Show on the internet. That's right. Best Worst Show voted for 2023. Best Worst Show. It was awful. Just the worst show that was ever imaginable. I don't think that you could get a better worst show out there. Anyways, what up? I'll be your host this evening. My name's Manuel Chavez the Third, or the Turd, depending on how you know me. And this is Griftcast IRL, a meta parody in what streaming is, or at least what it's become. Yes, what it's become. Well, how are you doing since we saw you yesterday? It's not often that we try to get back onto the high horse and start being funny again. But you know what? At this present time, the energetic feeling of the universe is telling me that I should tap into my greater consorts and then utilize the internet to make things happen. What things happening? I don't know. But there's an Apache helicopter flying over or something like that. That's close as shit. Why you guys always got to fly over my house and shit? I got the gun arm. I'm not afraid to use it. Bullets are expensive. Anyways, sorry. What a day. What a day in the life that it's been. We have some news and things like that to share with you. There's some grief or drama that I guess I should probably try to talk about at least a titty bit. Yeah, I don't know if it's a titty bit or a tizzly bit or bitterly tiddly bit. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. And I've been holding off talking about a lot of this stuff because, you know, honestly, I ain't want to get banned. But you know what? Then I remembered that I get banned anyway, so I might as well make it count. For the time that we have here is small, but the power that we are able to wield with such a small space is quite great. Yeah, and maybe that's why they don't let me ever get bigger, because if somebody with my skills and talents could do so shitty and be this good, could you imagine how good we would be if we actually, I don't know, had a team and tried? Fudge, man. That would be like something else. It probably would be something else. I don't know about something else, but what I do know is that we like to talk about the news. We like the griefing. And, you know, honestly, I feel like my life is just a meta grief at this point. Yep. Meta grief at this point. So anyways, what's up to people in the chat like Jimmy Faze, this Spolito character, whoever this Victorian Greyjoy individual is, this Drama Llama. I put drama in the freaking title and look who shows up. The Drama Llama. Nice to see ya. Anyways, what's up, Eureka? Nice to see you. I gotta click the button so that your thing pops up or whatever. Always a pleasure to have you with us. Not that I'm saying I don't like the Drama Llama or whatever. I was just trying to be funny. And if you weren't picking up on that, maybe I'm not doing my job great enough. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Whatever. We got Miss Christina up in the building. She's got a butterfly in her thing. I heard that she got rocked by an earthquake. I don't know. She moved to some new town and it's trying to kill her. I told her, I don't know why you moved out there. You might as well just stay where you're at. You know, go somewhere else. Leave the state. Just leave it. You got to get the fuck out of there. You're just never going to survive. Maybe. I don't know. What is up to Discoby? Who spoofed the Seth Rich files? I'm pretty sure it was Jason Goodman and that one dickhead, George Webb. I don't know why people keep asking me it. The answer is always going to remain the same. Hello to Ashley D with your little fire over there. I hope you're not burning your house down. Arson is illegal, but thank you for being here with us. Word up to Mark Mills. I'm just going to say, what's up, Mark Mills? How you doing there? Bitch, I'm trying to... Sorry, I don't know why I said that. Anyways, it's just another fine day here for me. We got Admiral Obvious over in the chat. Hello to Admiral Obvious. Obviously, nice to see you here. Do you see what I did there? Woo! And yeah, I guess that's enough shouts outs into the chat because I think everybody else, we've already been shouted out. So, what are you guys doing today? What are we doing today? What are we talking about today? Well, we have a few different things to talk about, my friends. We got some Bitcoin-related stuff, maybe. We got some other shit that's happening out here. I might as well just click on the first link and just let it go. And then, we'll do all the bullshit that's in the back end of things. But I think that there's like a filibuster going on. There's just a bunch of crazy shit going on. So the news is definitely a lot less crazy than it was yesterday. But then again, maybe it's not. Maybe they're just hiding everything. And maybe it's all just a conspiracy. Yeah, probably not. Doesn't really matter. But I guess we'll have to at least peep it out to see how this thing's going to actually, work out. So the first thing that we'll talk about today is something very strange. I like the strange and spooky and dark and mysterious, right? Somebody sent this clip over, and it's from Frankfurt, Germany on February 10th, 2024. And, they don't know what it is. Maybe you know what it is. But let's just take a look at this right here. The fuck?
Ovo stvarno ljudi nije normalno. Gledajte ovo.
I hear music. So could it be one of those spotlights moving back and forth? Do you hear the music? I hear the music just barely. I could hear the music just barely. Frankfurt, Germany. Weird lights in the sky going backwards and forwards. What the hell is that shit? I don't know what that shit is. But it looks spooky. Looks very fucking spooky. Look at just how fast it's going back and forth. But it's not technically following the same line. But maybe it is. Maybe it is. Yeah. Frankfurt, Germany. It's the Germans. They got some shit happening over in the Germany land. I don't know what kind of shit's happening over there, but they've been having asteroids and all kinds of other weird shit. But some bizarre, unexplainable area activity seems to be happening in this particular situation. It looks like some sparkly bits, man. It looks like a 3-dimensional sparkly bit flying back and forth, and it's a couple of them like, woo, 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 woo. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Could it be the blue beam calibration, as Discoby says? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't really know. Sorry, I'm not the answer, man. I'm the guy that's like, damn, look at this shit. This shit is weird, man. Look at it. We'll just play it again without the audio this time. But as you can see, we got some weird ass light looking things going woo, woo, woo. They just keep going back and forth, back and forth. What the fuck are that thing? It kind of looks like what I would imagine somebody flying through the air would look like if they were like a Dragon Ball Z character and it was like real life. They would get their chi around them and they'd be like, ah! And they'd be like, shoo! With all the white shit floating around them, and they'd just be like zipping around and shit. Be like, what the fuck is that? Oh, it's just Goku and them. They're just fucking looking for somebody in Germany. Fucking relax. I don't know. Definitely very, could be aliens. Is it aliens? I can't say that it's aliens because I don't know if it's aliens. All I have is this very shittily shot video that's very low quality. But, it could be some kind of like light going back and forth. It just, maybe it's just the shitty quality that is not allowing me to understand what the hell it is. It just, there doesn't seem to be any light sources on the ground that it could be coming from. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that's like, if it was a light on the ground shooting up, there would be like, a cone of light, right? And the cone of light does not exist, so maybe it's something off in the distance and it's just shooting it back and forth. But then again, I ain't ever seen a light go out and then back in like that. You know, like that's just not how it works. I mean, could it be like a laser? Could it be like them shooting a laser out there and then it's like another ship shooting a laser back and we're watching a space battle? I don't know. It's fucking crazy though. The shit is fucking crazy. Hello to Virginia Olsen. Welcome back to the show. Thank you for being here with us this evening. Nice to see you. Yes, nice to see you. Frankfurt, Germany. Probably the most strange thing that we had today that we were just looking at. And I was just like, damn, what the fuck is going on, bro? What's going on, bro? Aliens? Are they trying to distract us with the Project Bloomy? Is the secret fake alien invasion gonna happen and then we're gonna have to fight the government who's actually the aliens and it's gonna be all crazy as fuck? Yeah, no. Probably not. Come on, guys. We're not that fucking lucky, right? We're not getting no alien invasion. I mean, we got the pandemic. That's what we're getting. That's gonna be what our generations and shit remember for. Remember the early 2000s? They had like some pandemics and everybody was like gender fluid or whatever. I mean, shit was weird. That's what they're gonna say. You guys don't believe me. They're gonna say weird. But speaking on gender fluidity and weirdness, Libs at TikTok, a popular Twitter account said Colorado Springs shooter was non-binary. The Nashville shooter was trans. The Aberdeen shooter was trans. The Denver school shooter was trans. The Iowa school shooter was trans. And the Lakewood shooter was trans. Is the modern LGBTQ movement radicalizing our youth and adults into becoming violent and extremist? Or is this some kind of MK Ultra type situation that we're looking at if you like conspiracy theories? Is that how it is? I mean, I don't know if that's how it is, but yeah, what's up, Ryan Van Zant? Nice to see you there, G. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel, or at least welcome back to the channel. So, if you haven't heard, yesterday during the Super Bowl, or technically before the Super Bowl, there was a shooting at the third largest mega church in the United States of America, nay, the world. Anyways, the Lakewood church had a shooter that was a trans-identified individual that went by the name Janice Moreno. That's right, Janice Moreno, but went by the name Jeffrey. So Jeffrey G. Escalante, Jeffrey Janess Escalante, Jeffrey Moreno Escalante, Jeffrey Janice Moreno, Jeffrey Janice Escalante. Very many different things here. But as far as we know, we finally got an ID, at least on the individual that lost their life while trying to make a lot of other people lose their life. Hopefully we said that all right. But as you can see, as far as I could tell, this is just making it even stranger because, you know, like, what is with all of this new violence that seems to be happening? I mean, there's always been school shootings and stuff like that, but why is it anything that is, you know, even remotely big in the last like year or so seems to be coming from a certain group of individuals? It's almost like they've been radicalized and have said stuff like, you know, you'll accept us or we'll kill you or something like that. I don't know. You know, I feel like I've seen that before, some kind of variation about that on the internet. But looking through all of this stuff, you can see that this person has actually been arrested quite a few times. Yes, very many times. This person actually had a long criminal history, and some people were saying that they used to be much more feminine in nature, but for whatever reason, that they decided to change it to being Jeffrey, which I don't know if is a connotation to Jeffrey Epstein, but, you know, according to this, we got a lot of criminal charges. Mostly assault, bodily injury, failure to stop, forgery, theft, marijuana possession, and evading arrest. So, you know, like we do have some, you know, we have a long storied criminal history for this individual. And this individual, as recently as of 2009, seems to have had a actual violent crime, but it looks like they were deposed on it and it was completed, and that was for assault bodily injury. No idea who that was for or anything of that nature, but it does kind of make you wonder. And how's it going there, the Scroats Magoats? Nice to have you with us here. Pleasure to have you coming back on over into the show, my friend. Always appreciated. Always appreciated. We love our members over here. Send me money. I love it. Anyways. So yeah, there you go. In the state of Texas, and this is just for the state of Texas, to be clear, because obviously this individual, Mr. Jeffrey Escalante Moreno, seems to have at least had a little bit of a soiree with the police for a few years, and then I guess got pregnant, settled down, and things were going good for like 5 years, and then 5 years of their life got real fucked up, and then they decided to go do some fucked up shit. Yeah, kind of crazy, actually, when you think about it, or if you at least take the second to look at it.
Such things as cancel culture and the whole woke movement. And
what's this?
Keep all narratives politically correct. What's your view on this? Where is this leading us?
It's not my view, it's the view of clinical psychology. In the past few years, we have begun to study victimhood movements and the psychology of victimhood movements. So we have, for example, studies by Gabay, G-A-B-A-Y, and allies.
Gabay?
For massives conducted mainly in Israel. We have studies in British Columbia. And
Israel. Oh, wow.
What we're beginning to find is that certain people are prone to adopt victimhood as an identity. Their victimhood is their identity. Their victimhood endows their life with meaning, makes sense of the world. So it's an organizing principle. They would
organizing principle
in situations where they would not have been victimized otherwise. When they are not victimized, they push you to victimize them. This is called projective identification. And so there is something called TIV. TIV is a new psychological concept describing these kind of people. You can see these people online, for example, in the empaths movement and other nonsensical labels, where these people are actually very narcissistic, very grandiose, extremely aggressive, lacking in empathy of any kind, and yet they claim that they have been victimized all their lives because they are super empathic and they are sensitive and so forth, and they are proud of their victimhood. They compete with each other. My abuser was much worse than your abuser. No, my abuse was unprecedented. I understand that you were abused. I'm sorry for you, but my abuse was much. And it's identity politics. It becomes identity politics. A separate set of studies in Canada and elsewhere has shown that very fast, very soon, within usually 2 to 3 years maximum, victimhood movements such as Me Too, Black Lives Matter, and so on get hijacked by narcissists and psychopaths. So the infiltration of narcissists and psychopaths is universal in all these victimhood movements, and they become the public face of the movement. Victimhood movements are...
Well, that's very interesting if you ask me. Victimhood movements. People are predisposed to have the victimhood mentality. That's crazy to think about because, I mean, throughout my travels in the world as a human being known as Manuel Chavez III, unlike, where I'm previously from, which is very bright and angelic or whatever, it always made me wonder why a certain subsection of the population had a victimhood mentality like ingrained into their brains. Because, I mean, being a person that grew up through a lot of strife, I never made the strife that I grew up with define who I was. I've always made jokes about the reasonings behind things, but the reality here is that you can't really be a victim, right? Because that victimhood mentality is what pushes you forward, and it's something that I've covered upon in the past with different groups. If you look at like what was happening during the Cicada 3301 situation, I clearly defined what the parameters of what I was a victim of, right? And the stuff that we put out there, going after people, getting shit filed in the courts, actual physical documents, and having actual physical proof of things, it was a hard line of diving in between being a victim and being the quote-unquote aggressor. Because during these movements, whenever you do anything bad, like if I were to say one negative thing that I would say would be amplified 10 times over within the group of victims, because they're all basing their lives in reality from a place of victimhood. And it's very interesting to think about when you look at the victimhood mentality and how it crosses over into the criminal identity and the criminal mentality, because they almost go hand in foot. And I believe it's a lot to do with the way that people justify things within inside themselves, right? If you're a victim, you can justify untold matters of criminality because of what or how things happen to you. Does that make sense? Is that actually something that you will believe? And then if we're looking at this, if you look at the trans community and the LGBTQIA plus IB whatever community, I grew up with my next door neighbor, great lady. Her name was Lisa, and she was gay. She was super gay, and she had a girlfriend. And she was like, you know, like she was that butch lesbian or whatever, where she drove like a big ass truck and, you know, she acted pretty manly and stuff like that. She was always working in the yard and stuff. I mean, really just a nice lady, but like she always had her partners with us, and it was never a problem in my life, you know, being Catholic. Like, well, do you think we're going to hell? And I was like, well, no, I don't think you're going to hell, because that's not what Jesus said, you know? Like, was it Jesus like fucking around with a hooker? Like, feel like the guys, like, you know, like all that old shit, you know, we don't need to worry about that. It's just about loving each other, right? If you love somebody or whatever. Don't tell that to the Catholics, though, because they'll get all fucking pissed off. That's fine. But going back into this victimhood mentality, Black Lives Matter was a movement that was started within a victimhood mentality. If you can't see that, I don't know who the fuck you're talking to. I don't know what you're talking about, but the Black Lives Matter movement was that. The LGBTQ movement, when, you know, I experienced the LGBT movement, you know, like there were some people that looked at it as a victimhood type thing, like they were being victimized in school and bullied. And I feel like that type of stuff really generated a lot of angst inside of some of those people, but they got out of it. But like from the trans community, you know, or at least the introduction of the trans community as a whole, this new fight for it, it's almost like every single time it's been a victimhood mentality. And I think there was one popular trans person who was also a streamer named Keffels that I think embodies everything that I'm trying to say about this, is that, you know, this person was like selling HRT and hormones that they were making in their bathtub, but they were the victims because people were exposing it and ruining their lives. And then they became the victim because they couldn't stand up with all the abuse that was going on from the internet people on kiwi farms. And then that person started taking all the donations that were supposed to be for all of their legal problems and living, and buying cocaine with it copiously and doing all of it. And then ended up having to go to rehab because of all of it. And then once again, blaming all of that on kiwi farms because they weren't able to cope with the reality and the whole point that they were saying that Kiwi Farm was going after them in the first place is because they were trans. So it was like victimhood and then victimhood and then victimhood. You see that there's like a pattern here, right? You know, like you're not crazy for seeing patterns. There's just proper pattern identification and improper pattern identification. A very, very loose field. Very, very loose field. And I mean, if you have cognitive dissonance to the max, like somebody like Eliza Blue, people from your past can come forward and speak very clearly about who you are, and people could still not listen to what you're going with. Let's just think about that.
One of the most threatening and pernicious developments. There is a sociologist by the name of Campbell, and he said that we have transitioned from the age of dignity to the age of victimhood. It's very dangerous because if you are a perennial victim, if this is your identity, if you are defined by your victim, you would tend to develop attendant behaviors. For example, you would tend to feel entitled to special treatment. And if you don't get this special treatment, you will become aggressive. And this is the irony. This was first described by Kaufman. There's a guy called Kaufman. And he described what he called the drama triangle. And he said abusers, the drama triangle includes abuser, victim, and rescuer or savior. But he said these roles are not fixed. When the victim is not gratified by the rescuer, she becomes an abuser. And when the abuser witnesses the behavior of the rescuer, he tries to be the rescuer. So everyone cycles. What I'm trying to say is that the potential for aggression and even violence in victimhood movements is much larger than in the general population. And even I would go as far as saying that it's equal to psychopathic movements. For example, the Nazi movement. Equal. Of course, the Nazism was a victimhood movement. Nazis presented themselves as victims of the Versailles Agreement, of the world order. Germany was discriminated against, and look where it led. Similarly, communism was a victimhood movement. The proletariat was exploited by the landowners and by the industrialists and so on. We need to redress grievances. Anything that is grievance-based leads to violence and death. End of story. All death cults started as victimhood movements. ISIS is no exception. So it's dangerous.
All death cults started as victimhood movements. So wait, maybe transism isn't a death cult, but then again, there's an argument that says that maybe it is because of, well, the numbers, but it's probably not good for me to talk about all of that. But, you know, there's an abnormally large amount of people that transition that seem to take their own lives. And those figures would correlate very directly with like another style of cult that we've like interacted with in the past, like a death cult like Cicada 3301. Yeah, think about that. Got to think about it at least. That's where we're at. So is that what's causing these types of people to lose their shit and go crazy? I mean, the brain chemistry is a very, very, very tricky thing. A little bit change in your brain chemistry could change who you are, how you act completely. Right? And the introduction of hormones to any type of person is going to create such a big issue. Right? And here we are. You know, like we're coming back to that Lakewood church thing. You know, this is an individual that was female for a predominantly long amount of their time in their life. And all we can really tell from, you know, at least the history of this person is that sometime in 2009 to 2012, there was a lot of issues legally in Texas with the police department. And it wasn't till very recently that things started changing over. You know, retroactively, the systems will rename people as it were, but at the same time, like there's still talk about how this is being detonated. And I think like one of the biggest things here is that they're trying to interject certain things together. Like we do know that the shooter, the person that was taken down, was trans, but the one thing that we're not hearing a whole hell of a lot about is the fact that Free Palestine was written allegedly on the rifle. I haven't seen any photographs of the rifle that would have confirmed it just yet. Also, to be perfectly honest, I didn't go look that hard, but this is what they're saying that the terrorist look like, and you can obviously see the shawl burqa type situation over there. And of course, we're going to get a lot of those Israeli people who are allegedly victims their entire lives. Well, you suffer in a Holocaust, and then you become a victim, and then you start creating genocide on your enemies, and then you're still a victim. That's the same thing. Really weird to hear a Jewish guy from Israel talking about the victimhood mentality and not applying it in certain aspects, even though whatever they said perfectly fits the actual situation that is at hand in Israel. And the fact that they're now trying to like cross this over, like this was an attack on a Catholic church, not a Jewish synagogue, right? But what the wording is and what the verbiage is going out there is now this is an anti-Israel attack. They didn't attack a mosque, or they didn't attack a fucking synagogue. They attacked a church, a mega church with like white people in it. But specifically, they attacked a mega church with a bunch of Mexican people in it because it was during the Spanish sermon time. But now it's an anti-Israel terror attack because Free Palestine was written on the rifle, something that we haven't seen anywhere, any place has been going on. And I feel like that it's at least good to point that out because it doesn't sit well with me because, I mean, shouldn't it be like an anti-Christian attack because they attacked a Christian church? I mean, has Joel Osteen been super pro-Israel or something like that? Like, I don't keep up on Joel Osteen's sermons and stuff like that, but he seemed excited. I mean, the guy always seems excited about everything happening. Somebody shooting guns in his place, and he's still smiling. I mean, fucking hey, dude. I don't know where you get that kind of fucking energy, Joel, but that shit is crazy. As far as we know Joel Osteen isn't Catholic, but, you know, we're still in that Christian faith, right? An attack on Christianity. Is Christianity the same as Judaism? Does Christianity have anything to do with Israel other than the fact that, you know, everything started all over there? Like, as far as I can remember, Christianity is an offshoot of Catholicism because a bunch of dumbass white people thought that they could do their shit better, but the reality is that they just didn't like what they were hearing anymore, and they knew they could become rich off of becoming preachers, so they started opening up all their own little places as their units of control in the United States of America, and that's why you still see a lot of these biblical footholds in certain spaces of the country. I don't know. Maybe it's like that. Maybe it's not like that. You could be like, you know, like that. I mean, the guy's a Christian, but, you know, if you're a Christian, you're ultimately just a shitty Catholic. Sorry to say. Right? But, you know, like, is that how they came forward? But then again, if you're a Catholic, you're just a really shitty Jew or, you know, a really shitty Zoroaster. I'm not sure, you know. I don't think it really fucking matters. But at the end of the day, church, religion has always been a unit of control that has been established over individuals to help control the consciousness within individuals, to steer them away from negative thoughts, right? To create at least a rudimentary form of laws that people can follow when the laws that were already created were not enough. I mean, in the United States, that's what it was. Didn't they start this country to get rid of religious persecution? Weren't they like sent over here because they were persecuted, right? We don't fucking want you over here no more. So then we had all these guys doing all their new shit, and then all these fuckwads started their own churches and shit like that. They're like, no, I want to do it better than you. It's just all rich white dudes ruining their units of control. You know, I made QAnon. That's like a religion, and you see how many people that fucked up? I'm telling you, it's not as fucking hard as you think. You just need a book or a laptop. Some spooky fucking character. You can make anything happen. Anyways. So, the Lakewood hosted church press conference. 7-year-old is critical condition, and some reports state that may not make it. The 7-year-old was injured after El Salvador Hispanic migrant transgender Genevieve Yvonne Moreau, age 36, opened fire at Joel Osteen's Lakewood Church on Sunday. According to authorities, a 57-year-old man who was also shot has been released from the hospital. A sticker saying Palestine was on the AR-15 rifle of the alleged woman shooter in the church shooting. The individual had multiple rounds of ammunition and fired almost instantaneously. The gun was purchased legally this past December. The alleged shooter, Moreno, had a lengthy criminal record going all the way back to 2015 and was still able to purchase weapons. An emergency detention order in 2016 was issued for mental disturbances for Moreno. The investigation determined that there had been no risk of chemical contaminants that may have been present yesterday. A police chief Finner says the police department will be transparent as the investigation continues. All places of worship will be on high alert and stepped up on patrol presence and increased security measures. Finner said, "We need to stop putting people in boxes. There will be an ongoing and continuing investigation to determine the exact motive." Wow. So it went from there was written on the rifles, so instead of it saying Free Palestine, now it's just the Palestine sticker. Maybe it was the sticker that said Free Palestine. I don't know. But that doesn't really generate a lot of like good feeling for me, because anybody could slap a sticker on anything, you know what I'm saying? Anybody could put a sticker on there after the fact. It's not like that one fucking time in Christchurch where that dude had all that fucking Nazi shit written on with the white paint marker. That shit was scary as fuck. That shit was scary as fuck. Now, what's this?
So she has utilized both male and female names, but through all of our investigation to this point.
Well, what up, Russell Dufresne? Nice to have you with us, bro. And also, nice to see you have to kill me first.
Identified this entire time as female, she, her, and so we are identifying her as Genesee Moreno, Hispanic female. There were 2 weapons, so she has utilized both male.
Oh, cool, man. Super progressives of you, Texas. I know you don't give a fuck about anything that you just said right there, Texas, but I respect you for fucking doing it. Fuck 2024. This shit sucks, man. Sucks. But then again, you know, like we go back to that whole situation. Different shooters, different patterns that are being associated to it. You know, we didn't have this problem before, right? No, they would have been blaming it on the white men, right? Right. It just makes you wonder, dude. And it should make you wonder because on one end of things, we have this stuff happening, and on the other end of things, we have those same types of activists taking over like state capitol buildings because they wanted to set legal definitions for words like man and woman because, you know, having a legal definition of what a man and what a woman is advantageous to how we work on things in the court systems because we need like facts and shit. And I mean, ultimately, I think it had something to do with the way that your DNA is assembled or something like that. And there's like some chromosomes or something. It's really ticking people off. Take a look. Take a look. Yeah, hear that? They're never going to go back. They're never going to go back. We are not going back to that. Not going back. I mean, I didn't want to go where we were going. So, you know, you guys don't want to go back. I want to go back. So, you know, like me being selfish says, fuck all of y'all. I want to go back to logic, reasoning, and, you know, what we've known for thousands of years as opposed to somebody with pink, purple, blue hair telling me how I should think and act because they're allegedly smarter than me. But the last time I checked, regional genius is a regional genius, and there's not very many of us. And most of us are assholes because we're underutilized. But I digress. It seems to be such a strange situation, you know. I'm fearful, you know, like I don't even want to mess with the trans person because, you know, I hate to make the joke, but, you know, they're very unstable people. These things keep happening. It's like you say the wrong thing and you're gonna end up in a pine wood box or some shit. Honestly, that's nothing that I want to be a part of, right? Like, I'm all for, you know, like equality, peace, love, marry whoever you want or whatever, because the government and religion are supposed to be separate. You can think whatever you want about your religion shit inside of your own brain. There are so many different religions that say so many different fucking things that honestly, I stopped being able to take those people serious because constantly each and every one of them tries to tell me what things are and how things should be and what their side of things is based on whatever. And honestly, I just don't care. Right? Like, we invented all of these legal things in the United States so that all these different types of ideologies could coexist. But the second that certain ideologies try to take over other people's ways of thinking, it's no longer America anymore. No longer America anymore. And then we get terror. And we got people going after other people. We got people shooting people at churches and shit. Ain't good. Good. It's not Not good. Whatever. Anyways, into the next little bitty of information here. Apparently, there's been a filibuster that's been happening for at least 125 hours, and Rand Paul is just looking for people to say, hey, we're going to give you some energy, take some of my cellular energy, Rand Paul, and make it through this long filibuster that you're doing that's apparently going to save the country. Yes, saved the country. Well, is it like really saving the country? But, I don't know. Filibuster against a bill that prioritized the Ukraine border over our own has now lasted for 5 days. Yes, right. Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. Rand Paul has been filibustering to basically stop a bill that would prioritize the Ukrainian border over ours, which is something that we keep coming back to, right? We've seen the amount of money that they've wanted to send to Israel and Ukraine for whatever bullshit that they have so they can secure their own borders and create genocides. But, when a guy like Donald Trump asks for $20 billion so that he could finish the wall, the same wall that we're having all of that immigration shit happening at right now, they said that they just don't have the money for it. He could go fuck himself. But we have the money to be sending that over to Israel and 5 times over to Ukraine. No problem. Easy. And I mean, you got to put it out to a guy like Rand Paul for actually taking the time out of his busy life to actually do this, because legitimately, Mitt Romney says the Senate's $95 billion supplemental aid package is the most important vote these 3 senators will ever make. Mitt Romney started his career letting Americans go die in his place in Vietnam, and now he ends it by sending others to die for his beliefs.
The vote we will soon take to provide military weapons for Ukraine is the most important vote we will ever take as United States senators. The vote we will soon take to provide military...
Yeah. On one side, they're saying that the vote is the most important vote that they will ever take. And then you got guys like Charlie Kirk saying that Rand Paul is a dickhole for even trying to filibuster that shit and then talking shit. I mean, I don't know, man. Kind of weird. I mean, he's even talking shit about Mitt Romney, saying that he started his career letting his Americans die in his place in Vietnam. And now he's sending other people to die in Ukraine. I mean, it's one of those things. Is $95 billion in supplemental aid the most important vote that we've ever made? Absolutely not. I don't think so. But it all seems part and parcel with this whole anti-Russia sentiment that seems to have been cropping up for a long time. And I mean, if you understand the stories, Ukraine's been the most corrupt country in that area of the world for a very long time. The Biden family has been caught up in the corruption in Ukraine for a long time. It's been proven that there's been kickbacks and money taken on both sides. We've seen all of the Hunter Biden shit. It's very clear. And the fact that people are even entertaining sending $95 billion, you could build almost 5 walls at the southern border for that. We're just sending it over to them to fight who? To fight Russia. They're fighting for their independence from Russia. Or no, they're fighting the invasion from Russia. Or was it Russian territory? Was it not Russian territory? I don't know. But what I do know is that it seems to be very part and parcel into that big interview. Yeah, that big interview, right? Tucker Carlson had a really big interview with Vladimir Putin, and everybody was calling Tucker a traitor, even though the journalists have interviewed the motherfucker for a really long time, for very many years. And now listening to him and hearing his side of the story and his reasoning for going into Ukraine and how it's part of Russia and stuff is exactly what the establishment apparently doesn't want you to hear, because it kind of screws up their whole plan for it. We said $95 billion over there. Are they really going to be utilizing that for wartime bullshit, or is it just all the big play to get the money flowing back for the criminal crime families? That's what I think it is. But when you take it into stride and you start realizing these connections here, I mean, think about it. Even the Speaker of the House Republicans were crystal clear from the very beginnings. Discussions of so-called national security supplemental legislation must recognize that national security begins at our own border. The House acted 10 months ago to enact transformative policy change by passing the Secure Our Border Act, and since then, including today, the Senate has failed to meet the movement. The Senate did the right thing last week by rejecting the Ukraine, Taiwan, Gaza, Israel immigration legislation due to the insufficient border provisions, and it should have to go back to the drawing board to amend the current bill to include real border security provisions that would actually help end the ongoing catastrophe. Instead, the Senate's foreign aid bill is silent on the most pressing issues facing our country. The mandate of national security supplemental legislation was to secure America's own border before sending additional foreign aid around the world. It is what the American people demand and deserve. Now, in the absence of having received any single border policy change from the Senate, the House will have to continue to work on its own on these important matters. America deserves better than the Senate's status quo. Yep. I mean, the United States cannot afford to be the world's piggy bank. We cannot afford to be sending out $125 billion to a bunch of shit assholes that we don't even fucking care about. I'm so tired of seeing my taxpayers going to this stuff. I'm so tired of paying $50 a month or $50 a week in fucking groceries. For what? Or what? Thought about it. I was like, fuck, did I forget to put away the groceries? What I do need to know is why. Like, why is it such a problem for the Biden administration to secure the border? I mean, they kind of had the whole thing in the bag. And obviously, what most people are thinking and saying is the fact that, well, they wanted to make sure that they were going to lock down all them votes, baby. We need them votes. If we don't get them votes, it's all over. We're all fucked. But that's exactly what I would have to say it's actually all fucking about, right? Like, it's the same thing over and over and over again. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But here we are once again looking at a very, very shit situation. And this is at the precipice where even OAM is saying that we have Chinese migrants that are coming to the United States, and they're saying that TikTok is helping them cross the border because they can literally map shit out nowadays and get people in by watching videos that are just showing where to illegally enter the United States of America. And that's what most people are doing now. They're being taught how to find gaps in the border wall and even how to hire smugglers to find rides. And if you think, it's just very, very, very strange. Yeah, it's very, very strange. Very strange. Migrant crisis. So many different people coming over to the border. Not much is being done about it to even change anything about it. And does that have anything to do with the next big thing? Maybe. Alaska has confirmed its first fatal case of the Alaskapox virus. The Alaskapox virus is an orthopox virus, and orthopox viruses are DNA viruses that can infect mammals and humans. Nice. So somebody died from some sort of Alaskapox. That's what it looks like right there. It would look like a weird looking patch of skin that's circular in nature that gets very, very black. So, I figured I'd just let you know about that one. There's not too much story there. In other news, are you a Bank of America customer? Because apparently there's been a massive Bank of America data breach, and it's happened after one of Bank of America's vendors actually got hacked the other day. Personal personally identifiable information was exposed in a security breach that includes the affected individuals' names, addresses, and social security numbers, date of birth, and other financial information, including account and credit card numbers, according to details shared with the Attorney General of Texas. But yes, Bank of America has yet to disclose how many customers were impacted in the recent data breach of Infosys Mechanics Systems, IMS, the vendor that had its systems compromised. And it was revealed in a recent filing with the Attorney General of Maine that 57,000 people had their data exposed in the incident. Infosys IMS's parent company is a multinational consulting giant with over 300,000 employees in over 56 countries. And just to put it out there, Bank of America serves approximately 69 million clients over its 38,000 financial retail centers and approximately 15,000 ATMs in the United States and its territories. All they really know, though, is that on or around November 3rd, IMS was impacted by a cybersecurity event where an unauthorized third party accessed their systems, resulting in non-availability of certain IMS products. And yeah, right after that, they were like, we got hacked and we haven't been able to figure out why we got hacked. So yeah, we lost your information. Yeah, we lost your information is what they're saying, at least. Yeah. So, do you use Bank of America? Just know that your personal identifiable information and everything else that's fucking important just got leaked and has been out there for months and they haven't told you anything about it. Fuck yeah, man. Bank of America, you guys rock, man. Y'all rock. Y'all rock. They almost rock as much as fucking Joe Biden, dude. Well, Joe Biden doesn't rock. He rocks back and forth and shit, but I mean, people are starting to push for this whole get Biden out thing, trying to say that he can't serve a second term.
Activity as the Democrats respond to the report questioning the president's mental ability to do his job.
Yeah, so who's going to run in his co? Is it going to be fucking Kamala Harris? Because fuck no.
Memory loss, and on Saturday morning, it got worse. The New York Times...
I'll fucking save America, motherfucker.
...told the president to stop denying his weakness. On the same day, another Times columnist wrote that it's not a question of if Biden should step down, but when. All of that's in the New York Times, the Bible of the Democrat Party. On the Sunday talk shows, the Democrats rolled out their defense. Senator Chris Coons and Jen Psaki both blamed the media for piling on about the president's age. Then
it's the media's fault.
A lawyer who says the special counsel's report, quote, went off the rails. But he would not release transcripts of the president 5 hours of interviews that had revealed his memory loss in the first place. Oh, no, you cannot see the evidence. Then came the
no, you can't see the evidence.
Comment that if the Europeans don't pay up for their own defense,
Yeah. You seen that? Biden's upcoming physical exam will not include a cognitive test. Wow. So they're really, really pushing to get Joe Biden out of the presidency. And don't think that this is bad, because remember, they were saying the same shit about Trump after his first presidency. When they were going into election time, they were the ones that were saying, oh, guess what? Yeah, Trump, he's too old. He's not going to be good. He's cognitively impaired. And then, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Joe Biden's cognitively impaired. That seems to be what everybody's talking about right now. But here's the special counsel
to ask you the questions that were raised last week about the president's memory. What is your experience with him?
He's pretty sharp. And he's got a very good grasp of the issues. He asks, I think, very pertinent questions. And so I even got, mentored as I came in to sit down with different folks who work very closely with the president, because I want to make sure I get it right. And I've seen him, he'll call folks out if he's not getting the information he needs. He's sharp.
So were you surprised to hear that?
That dialogue, yeah, it was. Because it's not characteristic of what I've seen.
Yeah, it's not characteristic of what I see. The president, he's totally fine, dude. He's sharp as a tack, bro. He's sharp as a tack. He just can't talk for shit. Yep. But that's right. The House Republicans do want a request for the transcripts of Hunter Biden's interview with special counsel Robert Hur. 5 hours of interview, and all of a sudden we are not allowed to hear about it.
And joining me now is Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Secretary Mayorkas, welcome back to Meet the Press. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Kristen.
We are going to talk about what's happening on Capitol Hill, but first I do want to talk.
What? Yeah. Do I really care about any of this shit? No, but I would like to actually see what he said during that 5 hours, because apparently people are saying that, it's a pretty big deal because, Biden's mishandling of classified documents is key in this investigation. We did the same special investigator bullshit for Donald Trump, so why the fuck would we not be doing it against him? But I think the big difference here is that he's probably going to be saying, I don't remember and I don't recall a whole shitload of times within this entire thing. And what they say throughout Mr. Herr's report, there's a reference to the transcript of the interview conducted with President Biden on October 8th and October 9th, said the letter to Attorney General Merrick Garland, which was signed by the heads of the House and Ways and Means, Judiciary, and Oversight Committees. The committees require this transcript and any other records of this interview, including but not limited to recordings, notes, or summaries of the interviews. Beyond the interview transcripts, Republicans are requesting video recordings related to the interview and all documents and communications related to Herr's interview with ghostwriter Merrick Garland, among other requests. Oh, yes. So, the same stuff that they were requesting during the Donald Trump special investigator situation saga with fucking dipshit. Well, now they're saying that they don't want to give that stuff up, and they're basically taking a huge step away from what just happened. So, when it was going against Trump, they wanted everything, and there was no way that they weren't going to get everything. They got everything, and then after they bungled their whole entire situation, they deleted all the information, something that was actually illegal to do in the first place. But now, when it's on the other foot, and we're going after Joe Biden, they don't want to give up anything, especially of those transcripts. And why don't they want to give up those transcripts? I don't know. Probably because it's not a good look for them, right? The investigation's not over. We need to give Biden his fair dealing, and we can't just be going after him, right? We can't just be taking all of this information and making him feel like he's a bad guy. Come on, guys. We can't be doing that shit, man. That's fucked up. It's not fucked up. It's just the way it is, guys. It's just the way it is. The way it is. And why is it like that? Well, remember, this guy, Orange Man Bad himself, he's still in the game, and it freaks him out beyond all recognition, right? And he just appealed his presidential immunity fight to the Supreme Court, so it's official, right? So we're going to know here in the next couple of weeks whether he gets his presidential immunity deal from the Supreme Court, or if the Supreme Court tells him to go lick his own asshole, and he's basically kind of boned, because if that court case goes through, it's really going to make him try to become the president a big deal, because even if he still has the eligibility, the media is going to make sure that everybody thinks that he doesn't. Yeah. Could be a big legal fight that they're all dealing with. Could be the same legal fight, because remember, the other legal fight that they thought was going to be in the bag, the Fulton County DA's legal fight, well, yeah, she's about to be disqualified, or could be disqualified from the Trump case if she financially benefited from the relationship with the top prosecutor, meaning that if she got any special trips anywhere, or any money was paid out, or any money that she paid him and then he spent on her. Yeah. So basically what they're telling you right now, because this is a CNN article, is that they're basically shitboned on this particular case. And if she gets disqualified, the case is basically over. Right? Because not only is she going to get disqualified, the top investigator is going to have to get disqualified, and they're basically going to have to redo the entire thing. And that's going to be, let me hear it now, a fucking waste of the goddamn taxpayers' money. Yes. So the judge that's presiding over the election subversion case against Donald Trump and several co-defendants said that Monday, the district attorney who brought the case could be disqualified if she financially benefited from a personal relationship with the lead prosecutor on the case. And that's pretty much it. I think it's clear that disqualification can occur if evidence is produced demonstrating actual conflict or appearance of one, says Judge Scott McAfee during the hearing on Monday over the subpoena that the defense attorneys have issued for Thursday's dismissal hearing. Yes, the state has admitted to a relationship existed, so what remains to be proven is the existence and the extent of any financial benefit, again, if there even was one, because I think it's possible that the facts alleged by the defendant could result in disqualification. I think an evidentiary hearing must occur to establish the record on these core allegations. So it looks like they only really got one good shot left, right? And it's going to be the Supreme Court thing. So it'll be really interesting to see what they do with it. It is nice to hear that Fani Willis got her fanny handed to her once again. I mean, you just got to love it when they just think that they can get one over on you, dude. They just think they could get one over on you. They try to be the greatest that they can be. And I guess since we're talking about Trump has finally announced his picks to replace Ronna McDaniel. And he's saying that it's going to be North Carolina GOP's Michael Whatley for the RNC chair, daughter-in-law Lauren Trump as the RNC co-chair, and the Trump campaign co-manager Chris LaVista as COO of the RNC. I did not go to the RNC meetings here in Nevada because the last time that I went and did all that shit, it was just a bunch of dumb assholes who really didn't know what they were talking about doing dumb shit. And it was a supreme waste of time for at least me, right? It was a big waste of time for me. Huge waste of time. Huge waste of time. Because they're never going to listen to little brown old me. And when I even ran, all the white people didn't even want to vote for me. They voted for their dumbass friends who were incapable of doing anything. And then they wonder why good people like me don't want to be around. Oh, well. But in the funnest bit of news today, I would have to say, pretender to the throne, Craig Wright has been getting absolutely fucking obliterated in court. Yes, Craig Wright, his legal battle over confirming that he's Satoshi Nakamoto, something that he is most definitely not, is finally coming to a head. It's been shared. He's admitted to forging evidence and other things. And it's getting to be to the point where all of a sudden his lawyers are almost unable to stop this guy from digging his grave even farther, which is kind of fucking hilarious to really be on about. And the trial is a showcase of detailed technical evidence punctuated by moments of drama. In one instance, Ray exclaimed in court, "But I am Satoshi." This declaration occurred during a cross-examination by Jonathan Hogue resenting COPA. The evidence presented challenges his claim. Wright's statements is a key part of his argument for the ownership of the intellectual property and rights associated with the creation of Bitcoin and its foundational white paper. But how could he ever get control of the intellectual property associated with Bitcoin when he did not write the white paper? He just re-uploaded it, and it was copies of other person's white papers, and even more so, how can he claim to be the creator of Bitcoin, but not actually be in possession of the original Genesis block that contains Satoshi's first bit of coins, which would also be, in fact, the only way for Satoshi Nakamoto to prove to himself? And then riddle me this: why the fuck do I have a copy of the goddamn Genesis block wallet? Why was I able to open it up on a live stream and show everybody? It just doesn't really make a whole lot of fucking sense to me, but it is kind of funny watching all of these people argue about Satoshi, because I mean, to me, looking at the situation in its very clearest form, I mean, we have a group of fucking assholes that I don't like, which are the COPA people. You know, most of the people in the Bitcoin community don't realize that Satoshi Nakamoto left because they suck. Like, that's what they don't get. They think that he just dipped out and was just done with it, which is mostly true, right? He hit a wall. He didn't want to go anywhere else with it, and he kind of wanted to see where it went because he was at the very tippity top of his ability. And since then, what Bitcoin and this entire thing has created is something that no one could have predicted. And it's just a bunch of fucking assholes, right? A bunch of the dumbest motherfuckers in the world acting like the smartest motherfuckers in the world. And that's why Satoshi Nakamoto himself is the smartest person ever, is because it doesn't matter what any of these legal cases said. That person's never going to identify themselves in any meaningful way, because the whole point of it was for somebody to discover the truth. They would simply just have to put in the name to get access, right? But nobody wants or even knows. Well, some people know. What do I know? Well, no. Why do I know? I know everything. Apparently. Allegedly. No, I only know certain amounts of things about certain things that I was involved in. But it's been a pretty crazy situation watching this, because we got guys like HODLNOT who actually got doxxed in a live stream by the court. A guy that they've been trying, or Craig Wright has been trying to fucking dox and identify for very many years. He actually got accidentally placed on a live stream, and it was posted online, and now people are trying to feverishly figure out who he was. And this is the same guy that Craig Wright asked for, or was giving out a $5,000 bounty on. And yeah, it says March 2019, I received a letter of claim from CSW via his lawyer, the SCA on tier. They gave me 7 days to agree to remove my tweets and apologize and confirm in court that I believe CSW is in fact Satoshi, which is something that, you know, he didn't do, and he actually won his case because, you know, Craig Wright can't prove that he's Satoshi because he has no actual real evidence, and he doesn't hold the keys to any of his, like, accounts, which is kind of crazy to think about it. But it's pretty certain to think that the judge in this case has made it very clear that Craig's no longer able to make any of these wild claims anymore. And it's been pretty awesome to hear that basically every claim that Wright has made thus far has actually been destroyed with actual evidence and proof, to the point where they've even gotten Craig Wright to admit that some of the evidence that he has put forward claiming that he is Satoshi Nakamoto was fabricated, which is crazy. I mean, who the fuck is dumb enough to admit to forging shit in court in front of a judge? I don't fucking know. But yes, in another surprising twist, Wright admitted to the court that some of the documents he presented supporting his claim as Satoshi Nakamoto were indeed forged, a revelation that once again sent a wave of disbelief through the courtroom. This admission came after COPA's meticulous presentation of evidence highlighting time discrepancies in documents, fonts that were not available when the documents were supposedly created, so on and so forth. Well, it's because he didn't write that white paper. But, I mean, if you've ever learned anything about me and how things have gone, this channel has always been a meta commentary on reality versus fiction, right? And I've shown you guys a lot of different things. I've shown you how to solve the hardest puzzles in the world, how to take down terrorist organizations, and I've even showed you the actual truth about the creation of the time chain, not the blockchain, because that's what the Bitcoin chain is actually called. It's called the time chain. Most people, including this fucking dipshit, Craig Wright, doesn't even know that shit. But it's all there. It's all waiting for people to find. They just have to put the mud in, I guess. Yeah, they gotta put the mud in. So the more that you feel into this, the more that we're looking into it, it just makes me happy, because literally Wright is blaming a host of reasons and people for all the inconsistencies pointed out, when he is just being shown to be an absolute fucking liar. And honestly, the judges and everybody else are actually pretty much like to the point where he's pretty much done, right? The Crypto Open Patent Alliance, a nonprofit backed by crypto players such as Coinbase, MicroStrategy, and Twitter founder Jack Dorsey, sued Wright in 2021, accusing him of committing forgeries in an industrial scale to try to prove that he was Satoshi. And right now, he is losing his proverbial ass trying to make that claim. And it's the same time, I don't think that anybody in our lifetime, in my lifetime, is ever going to figure out exactly who Satoshi was. I mean, all of the information is there, all of the accoutrement exists, and the place to put in the password is simple. I mean, the name unlocks the wallet, but nobody has ever taken the time to actually try to make it happen. And I think it's mostly because most people don't understand that even if you lose a Bitcoin wallet and your keys and stuff like that, you can still download the DAT file from the wallet from the chain. You don't need the password and shit like that. You have to have it or open it, but that's the kind of like the nice thing of the time chain is that it's always going to be there for all time. So like even if you lose it, you can still go back there and get it. You not know this? Well, nobody knows that. I know that. Why do I know that? I don't know. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't even really matter. But yeah, with BTC being at 50K, kind of makes me wish I didn't lose 27 Bitcoins at Mt. Gox. Kind of makes me wish I made a lot of better decisions in my life. But at the end of the day, I can only just be happy that that thing that happened, or the things that are happening with that thing, are going well. You know? It's going to be like that Doctor Who episode. Yeah, it's going to be like that Doctor Who episode when the doctor goes back in time and takes Vincent Van Gogh, meets Vincent Van Gogh, then takes Vincent Van Gogh into the future and shows him the monument to him. And, you know, all of the paintings and all these people saying that he was an amazing artist and stuff. But, you know, Van Gogh, when he lived his life, was hated and unappreciated and basically not having a good time in life. Yeah, I could totally understand what that feels like. I could totally understand what that feels like. Yeah, Victoria Gravejoy. What do you mean time chain, blockchain? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you dumb? Yeah, bro. Like, huh? 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 Bitcoin Magazine. Bitcoin's blockchain is the time chain. Let's talk about that. Calling Bitcoin's blockchain the time chain would honor Satoshi Nakamoto's intention and help clear up altcoin misdirection. Oh, yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's right. Uh-huh. In my early days of studying and learning about Bitcoin, I happened upon an article by Marty Bent, and that weighs the very question. Here's an excerpt. What you're looking at is a section of notes in the copy of the pre-releases of the Bitcoin that Satoshi shared with few reviewers before the mining the Genesis block in January of 2009. This copy of the code Satoshi had reviewed had by some cypherpunks before officially launching was shared on Bitcoin Talk in 2013 and resurfaced by Francis Poulet earlier this week on Twitter. As you can see from the notes in the code, Satoshi thought of Bitcoin as a time chain, not a blockchain. A misnomer applied to Bitcoin by us lowly plebes after it had been released. Very interestingly to note, especially considering the popularization, commoditization, and bastardization of the word blockchain over the course of the last decade, how ironic that one word every marketer, oil salesman, and out-of-touch politician or corporate board member alike has taken and run with, spending an untold amount of millions to craft a narrative around, and it is completely and utterly a sham that doesn't aptly describe what its creator intended. Truly poetic. Everyone and their mother is in a race to craft blockchain strategy, sprinting blind into foreign arenas, attempting to justify the exploitation of, and more importantly, budget for a word that has been misapplied since it entered our lexicon in 2009. Yes. Ben artfully points out that Chatisi made a reference to the time chain in a note that just before releasing shit. And I think Marty is spot on. There are so many Bitcoiners who become apoplectic when another altcoiner makes a claim about their blockchain being better than Bitcoin's. Or when members of a government or central bankers do it, Bitcoiners feel that these other people are coins or hucksters and scams. Perhaps many are, but that is beside the point. Bent makes a compelling argument for the Bitcoin blockchain as a time chain. There you go. That's why it's called the time chain. It's because in the pre-release versions of the code, when Satoshi Nakamoto was working for it, see, you remember I started that shit sometime in 2008, and there was a lot of like metagaming on it, and it was designed to be a way of saving things in time. So it was supposed to be a time chain, so you could keep different things at different times in the chain and retrieve them at any point in time. Yeah, most people don't really get that, because Bitcoin, if you could hold files in it, you could put stuff on it, you could host things on it. It's like its own version of the internet that most people don't understand, and it would technically work without the internet as long as the network was still broadcasting its RPC. But, like most people don't really get about any of this stuff. Most people don't get into it. And most people will never fundamentally understand the reasonings that people like me took when we decided to just get the fuck out. Because when you've created something so fucking legendary and people can't even call it the right fucking thing, you get frustrated. And think about how frustrated Satoshi Nakamoto was all those years with all those people creating more and more blockchains when that's not even what it was to begin with. That's why I don't take anybody that says anything about a blockchain seriously, because they clearly don't fucking know what they are fucking talking about. Yeah. They don't know what they're talking about. But there are some people out there that review this kind of thing. Like there's one guy named Ciro Santilli that kind of actually puts all that stuff. Yeah. And it's funny too. If you look at it right here, it says inscription added by Satoshi Nakamoto in the Genesis block. The Times of 3 January 2009. Chancellor on the brink of second bailouts. And for whatever reason, Chancellor Alistair Darling's name was removed from that. Why did he remove it? Why did? But I always remember right here, it says, what is this? This part doesn't show up in the terminal and it's not made of any printable characters. 04 is the up return. To do, what's the actual meaning of FFF001D010445? Defango. Comments. It's a hexadecimal string and it's commonly used in the Bitcoin network as part of the mining process. Specifically, it is used to target the value to be considered a valid block by the network. This value represents the difficulty required for a miner to generate a block that meets the network's criteria. The first 4 bytes, 04FFF, represent the maximum possible target value. The next 3 bytes, 001D01, represent the current difficulty level, while the file byte 04 is the padding byte. In summary, the value sets the difficulty level for mining a new block in the Bitcoin network. Why though? Why does it start at such a high level? Oh, that's right. It's because prior to the creation of Bitcoin, there were other blockchains. Like the original time chain is actually an artifact from another blockchain that was actually created prior to the creation of Bitcoin. So it goes from time chain into blockchain, but they couldn't get it to work with a new Genesis block. So they had to take a Genesis block from the only version of it that worked and place it into the area. And it was very, very long until people actually figured out how to generate a new block in a more congruent way, which is why we started getting all of those other altcoins. And I'm not talking about Ethereum, more like all the other ones that are more Bitcoin oriented. So think about it. Think about it. Think about it. There's a lot of really funny stuff that's associated with it. I figured it's at least a good time to talk about that dickhole fucking Satoshi. You know, there's a lot of cool data that's embedded into the blockchain. Got to be able to look at where it's from, where it's coming from. That's it. You know, most people don't get that. Most people don't know. And with that, we're pretty much done. You know, I think the only other thing that we got is a little bit of griefer drama that I've been dealing with because, I mean, I've discussed it a smidge, right? You know, like I was told that we're not allowed to go big on this one, so I'm going to put it at the very end of this stream, but there's been a lot of changes that have been made in Star Citizen and a lot of metagaming has been done, but you know what? I'm going to do just a video talking about do it now. It needs its own video. It really does, because the situation is big, massive, right? I keep seeing massive threads like this of people talking about it. What's going on? In light of recent events involving infiltration and metagaming player events and organized warfare, some concerns have been raised in the Star Citizen PvP community surrounding the future of organized combat in Star Citizen. This message is an effort on behalf of the coalition of prominent PvP organizations to gain clarity from CIG publicly. Recent support communications from player relations at CIG have stated large-scale disruptions will be met with sanctions against those committing them. Also, participation in disruption of a large event will be deemed excessive griefing and gameplay disruption, and it was further communicated that these statements relate to the explicit and premeditated targeting of individuals and scheduled events during the alpha phase of Star Citizen. These statements have raised concerns and questions amongst everyday PvPers in Star Citizen for the future of organized org v org warfare and the unintended impact by these policies on organically discovered target-rich environments and metagaming, infiltration, espionage, and etc. As well as the ambiguity of these statements become a bludgeon for others in the Star Citizen community to use against those engaging in PvP by claiming their event was disrupted. While concerns are present, and the purpose of this post is not to argue the stance that CIG has taken, but to obtain public clarity and definitions of some of the verbiage and terms that was used, so that A, players engaging in PvP can ensure that they stay on the correct side of the terms of service, and B, to encourage players from brigading and mass reporting using possible misunderstandings of these statements from CIG as a bias. And the last official statement made on these matters was about 4 years ago. So yeah, we've really involved a lot of the Star Citizen PvP community in this because, I mean, the last thing that we heard about excessive griefing and stream sniping from 2020 was that, well, you know, we want an in-game solution for all of this stuff. And, you know, we're making changes to try to like make it better. But, you know, 4 years later, they haven't made it better. And now they're just basically letting players weaponize the report system even more than they already have been, which is creating more issues for them because they're having to do and hire more people to handle these stupid ass reports when all they really had to do was be like, you're on your own and stop accepting these reports for all them Nancy bitches and they would be fine. But, you know, it just never seems to end up like that. Never seems to end up like that. So what constitutes an event that is deemed too large or too high profile enough to that a surprise combat would be deemed excessive disruption or excessive grief, and if the organization plans to gather together a salvage mission marathon and fields 20 players, is it a violation to attack them? Why would the criteria for deeming a large-scale disruption? Concern is subjective in nature of the statement. We understand that maintaining a certain level of ambiguity to leave room for interpretation by CAG, but this could be interpreted by players as anything from attacking a group of players or organization trying to do an event like Jumptown, all the way to a server-wide event organized by players. What is considered a dynamic player interaction versus a large-scale disruption? What is considered premeditated targeting? In prior communications, CIG has stated that infiltration and mitigating is allowed gameplay. If the infiltrator provides intelligence that a single person or group of individuals will be vulnerable to strike, and the group acts on that information, is that allowed? How would it be determined if the attack or strike is organic or premeditated? Premeditated targeting of individual and scheduled events implies that a simple act of planning to attack anyone is a violation, and that any and all combat has to be random and organic. Are we allowed to use infiltration to join a server where an individual or group or target is located for the purposes of attacking them? Specifically, is if the intent is only to do so once? Above seems contradictory to previous policy instances and effectively makes any organizational warfare a TOS violation. Previously, CIG's stance was that for a majority of these matters, a PvP solution is preferable. Simply, we do not wish to unintentionally run afoul of acceptable gameplay or be subject to punitive actions due to mass reporting because PvP happened. Our goal is to clear up any confusion or misunderstanding in what is not acceptable gameplay and player interaction so we can continue to engage with the community in ways that are approved and beneficial to the direction and future of Star Citizen. Yeah. And then here's the reply. So this reply was actually given for the players. So we took the first thing and then we took this reply from Xylo CIG and we ran them through ChatGPT, and ChatGPT said, yeah, this response doesn't seem to answer any of the questions that were raised whatsoever. I've been following recent discussions, and I appreciate the concerns raised by our PvP-focused community. I'd like to provide some clarity and address a few key points that have been brought up before responding to this thread. I took the time to consult both player relations and development teams to ensure that they were fully aligned. We still believe in and encourage PvP solutions to in-game conflict. Our commitment to player-driven universe remains the same. It's important to note that we are not eager to police PvP encounters. In the vast majority of cases, we prefer players to engage in organic PvP without intervention. Over 4 years since our last shared stance, we've only intervened in a small number of times. That's a lie. And less than I can count on two hands. That's also a lie. We have evidence. A figure significantly lower than the countless reports of excessive grieving and stream timing we received. However, there's a line where we issue warnings, particularly to groups that take it to an extreme by making gameplay disruption their primary purpose of playing. With CIG, we have a considerable number of staff who actively prefer privacy and PvP-focused content, myself included, known for my pirate-clad office in our Austin studio. We committed to maintaining an environment where such gameplay is not only welcome but embraced. Then why aren't you letting it be embraced? Irregular PvP and privacy-leading activities are not only accepted but encouraged within parameters of fair play. We acknowledge the responsibility on our part to create a universe that self-manages these types of encounters through a robust reputation and law system, alongside a variety of tweaks and additions to appropriately balance risk versus reward. As you know today, the game is not equipped for fair balance of player factions, at least not to the degree that we intend, and currently any event weeks in the making can be wiped out with minimal effort. This has been seen more frequently with the pad ramming and the A2 flyblinds, commonly followed by videos mocking those impacted, all with very little gameplay repercussions. Although, again though, we are aware and acknowledge that this will need to be solved by the game itself, which will be the case as our intended systems come online and mature. It's also important to understand that the recent warnings were directed at a specific group of people that we deem as more radically impacting the game's intended alpha experience. Lastly, I want to clarify that our stance is not permanent. Espionage, piracy, and sabotage have their place in the universe, and we anticipate a more balanced and refined system to accommodate them in the game's progressiveness. And yeah, so basically same answer as last time. They haven't fucking changed anything, but now CIG is basically targeting my group, ReeferNet, the group that I just joined, because we are legitimately too successful at PvP. We beat the shit out of every person that we come against. We win, we accomplish our objective, and we get the fuck out of there. And because we have been too successful, they're starting to ban our people for even trying. Like, for example, I could show you this. The Experience. Yes, the Experience. Roy's Guide. Yeah, Roy's Guide.
Yeah, well, this was actually we had to leave somebody behind, so we are just hovering here just for a bit to see if we can get everybody on board. At the moment, right now, we have a criminal on board as well. Apparently, someone infiltrated the ship in their attempt, so we are trying to locate him right now.
Oh. Hello, this is Roy from Roy's Guide, and I'd like to read you a poem. In shadows cast by silent tears, grief whispers through the passing years. A heavy heart, a vacant stare, lost in the echo of despair. Memories linger, haunting near, a symphony of pain we fear. Through darkened valleys, we must tread grief's path, where love and sorrow wed. Yet in the depths, a strength resides, a tender grace that grief provides. For every ache, a tale of love, a testament to skies above. A dance of sorrow, a bittersweet chance, an experience both cruel and trance. In grief's embrace we find the art of healing wounded, broken hearts. Through tears that fall like gentle rain, Griefernet's wrath rises yet again.
Let's fucking go! Jive's on board. Jive's on board.
What? I gotta...
Sprechen Sie Deutsch, you fucking losers!
We passed up on the stair. We spoke a wasn't when, although I wasn't there. He said I was his friend, which came as a surprise. I spoke into his eyes. I thought you died alone a long, long time ago. Oh no, not me. I never lost control. Your face to face with the man who sold the world. Yeah. So, why did this all happen? Well, we got to go back to about 4 weeks ago when we hit the Experience. See, we had a pretty big mind for 2024. We wanted to start griefing. We want to have Griefer that come out and just come out on top. And we had two big events. One of them run by a person calling themselves Expat Brat, who's charging people in-game money in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, to attend their little 890 jump cruise. So we decided to hit them. We decided to test their security and see if it was up to snuff. They hired PMC orgs in for lots and lots of money, right? What's it called? Library Science. It was a fucking absolute failure in security. Their $145 million security team could not stop our very, very light. Actually, there was like 30 of us, but they couldn't stop it. Like, we shot like 2 torps at them. Their security wasn't even there. It was literally 3 million miles away, hanging out in the air and halo belt, nowhere to be seen. So we went in there, we blew them up. Only one guy, maybe 2 guys shot torpedoes, okay? 2 fucking guys actually shot the torpedoes. Now, I was like, let's fucking get on there and, like, you know, take them down that way. But we couldn't do that because they were in atmosphere, you see? And trying to get onto a ship like that when it's in atmosphere and falling to the ground is super fucking hard. So we were like, well, they're in atmo. We'll just shoot them with the torp, right? You know, maybe it'll get them. Maybe it'll get them. Well, it got them. So what happened next is probably the craziest thing that's ever happened to me in the history of a game. I wasn't even fucking there, okay? I didn't even type in chat Griefernet victory or anything, right? But I still got a ban. I got banned for not even being there because I am a known operative of the organization. They actually banned about 13 different people associated with the event. Some of the people had only showed up and typed in the chat Griefernet victory. That's the only thing that they did. And they were kicked from the game from 7 days for excessive griefing. Even though we only blew up the motherfucker once. And we were in and out because we weren't going to wait around for the security now, were we? No, we weren't. We were expecting to show up and then have a big battle with security and then that was it, right? Like, we didn't expect for us to blow their shit up and kill all of them, but well, that's what happened. So, Expat Brat and her group of players, they're Dutch, by the way. We have people that have infiltrated her organization. So we see everything that's going on in their org. We see every negative thing that they try to do in the game. And it was almost like clockwork. Immediately after the hit was made, Expat Brat started getting her individuals that were a part of her Discord to brigade us. So they had CIG members that were a part of the event. And this guy right here, hold on a second, where is he at? This gentleman right here, I'll have to put away my little thing here. You see this guy in the bottom right corner? That's a CIG employee. That guy works for Cloud Imperium Games, and he was on the experience, having the experience of a lifetime. And what it seems to have happened is that CIG employees coached a large group of players that weren't even a part of the organization or the event itself to mass report us en masse, where they gave them an entire listing of keywords to say and different stuff to do, and they legitimately had reports submitted like they were a fucking machine gun that were being assisted by people that work for Cloud Imperium Games that were on the boat. Talk about some incestuous bullshit, my friends, because that's actually what was happening. And it's not the first time. We also hit another popular event that is run every year called the Daymar Rally. And we tried to hit the Daymar Rally for 6 fucking hours, but they wouldn't start it because they kept on overloading the servers because they were trying to get too many people on them at once. So they got delayed for 6 hours, and it's the biggest event that Star Citizen has right now. There is no event that is bigger than the Daymar Rally, my friends. It is their number one event, and it is also one event that Griefernet has never hit before. That's right. In all of the existence of the Daymar Rally, Griefernet 100% can be confirmed to have never hit the Daymar Rally once. But guess what? We were all like, maybe we could hit it, right? Maybe we could get it. We made a plan. We were like, we don't have a very good plan. We got some people on the inside. We got a couple of ins that we might be able to get. Let's just try it. And guess what? We ended up failing for the most part because we couldn't get anybody. We would get like one or two guys on the server, then the server would crash. And then honestly, we were all there for fucking 6 hours trying to get in on this, going into different servers, flying around, trying to make sure that we're on the right one. And it was all for naught, my friends. All for naught. Because we weren't able to get anything. I mean, I think that you could kind of officially say that we fucking failed, actually. We failed to hit the Daymar Rally because we never actually were even able to get enough people onto the server to even try. So, for the most part, everything was A-okay, partner. It wasn't until later on in the day that I logged back into my account and I noticed something. One of the individuals on my friends list was on the server. So I was like, I'm going to get on it. So I jumped on the server and it just happened to be the main server for the Daymar Rally. And I was like, holy shit, one of the racers was on my fucking friends list this entire time and I didn't even know it. So I did the only thing that a griefer can do. I got my stealth ship and then I went over to the Daymar Rally without my shields on and nobody could see me. And then I just started murdering the shit out of everything that I could see. So yeah, I literally was flying in, blowing up racers, flying out. They were chasing me around and shit. And I just kept on losing them. I'd be like hiding behind a mountain and shit and they couldn't see me. It was fucking hilarious. And I was doing that shit by myself for like an hour. So basically, CIG saw what I was doing personally by myself for like an hour as being like an entire massive group of people attacking. When in fact, like, by after an hour's time, I think I only managed to get like 2 or 3 people onto the server, and us 3 or 4 people were basically taking on the entirety of their security, which were like the best of the best pilots, or allegedly the best of the best pilots in the game. And we were shitting on them like it was our fucking job. And it's like only 4 of us, we would fly in with ships that we could torpedo their big ships with. We would torpedo them, and then motherfucker would fly in with the bomber and start hitting racers. So I think at the end of the day, we got to really think about this in like kind of a positive way. It's like they're trying to change the game in a way that I don't agree with, dude. They're legitimately banning people for PvP. They're banning us. They're targeting us because we're too effective. And that shit's crazy, man. Because we're not a big group, guys. We ain't a big group. We don't get lots of videos on our videos. I mean, there's like 300 subscribers on Roy's Guide. Like this isn't like this isn't the top tier shit, right? Okay, this ain't the top tier shit, but it's because we do shit like this. Because we do shit like this that they're trying to do something about this. Because CIG has a problem. They suck too much streamer dick. That's what happens here. They think that the streamers are the people that are making the money in the game. They're the ones that think they're the people that they think are actually getting people to play this game. The people with these attitudes are the ones that are making them play the game. So like, this is from like a year ago. I will meet again. Don't know when. Don't know when. But I know we'll meet again. Some sunny day. All right, you know what? We be honest. I wasn't there for that hit. I wasn't there. I only joined like 4 or 5 months ago. So I can't take credit for that. But it's been an ongoing thing where the streamers go out, they'll promote some gigantic event that they want people to show up to, and then we show up to the event and they don't plan for us to be there, and we're the fucking assholes because we wrecked them. You know, it's not the game creator's fault. I mean, this was okay gameplay. They were like, yeah, dude, if they're dumb enough to like promote it publicly, tell you exactly where to go and shit, you know, yeah, you could go attack them. I mean, it was 90 versus 10. Like, there was 90 of them. They should have been able to fucking kill everybody. But no. They did not think. They did not think. And they got owned. And they cried about it. They cried about it. We're the bad guys. We're the bad guys. And they're banning us for having fun. I'm getting banned from a video game for having fun. Star Citizen, the game that I love, the game that I've been playing the same way since I started playing it 2 years ago when I was live streaming and stream sniping other people and fucking being a murder hobo. It wasn't a problem because I was a streamer. But now that I don't stream the video game anymore because I fundamentally disagree with the direction that the company's going, and now I'm a target, and the org that I'm part of is a target. Is this a victimhood mentality? No. I mean, this shit always happens to me, right? Like, they just don't like the way that I do shit. They don't like that we kill people. They don't like that we have fun. Okay, we're having fun. Is that bad? Apparently, it is bad. And I mean, the more that you try to roll through this, the better that you have to, like, the more that maybe you'll understand. You know, a lot of my friends thought that my comment right here was going to get deleted, and it didn't. You know, I actually made a comment back to Xylo because I'm fed up with, like, playing sides. Like, they delete my comments all the time. They don't allow me to speak. They don't allow me to speak my mind when I can definitely prove that, you know what, I got more brain power than like 5 of the people that they have working for them put together. But that's a question for another day. I call them out. I said, Xylo, that's a lot of waffling to say GrieferNet is bad. This is a non-answer that hasn't covered the questions asked and keeps it vague. If Star Citizen is a PvP game, it needs to be treated as such completely with no questions on the rules. The entire problem here with the situation is the lack of clarity and one-sidedness that has plagued the community for years. You cannot claim to not want to police PvP encounters and then turn around and police PvP encounters because mass reports were submitted, which is also against the terms of service. The issue is and always will be CINRG entertaining these reports in certain instances when favorites are involved and failing to follow its own TOS and historical posts about these rules. You can feed this question and your response into ChatGPT and see nothing that was addressed. And then they said, however, there's a line when we issue these warnings to a particular group that takes it to the extreme. Why can't you just name the people involved? Why not be transparent about this massive amount of reports made about them? You wouldn't be getting stream sniping reports if you didn't change the policy to only support certain streamers. You created the problem for yourself because you allow employees to stream, something that which literally almost no game companies allow their employees to do. You created the rule and created the situation for yourself. If you would be like every other game and say, your problem, not ours, you would stop seeing reports and you would stop having to take action. There is no logical reason to support these people trying to get you to solve in-game problems out of game. Twitch and other companies already have their own policies on stream sniping. Streamers are not a protected class, and broadcasting your location is a risk. End of story. As for fairness, is it fair that a streamer can get mass reports submitted and weaponize their community against people and CIG caves to demands? No, you created this situation of inequality. By the way, I am a streamer and I have experienced firsthand the toxicity of the streamer community in Star Citizen, have been stream sniped, and you know what? I never asked CIG to solve my problems. I just learned how to beat it. It's a simple thing that you have made impossible by supporting something that doesn't reflect the actual community of Star Citizen. What happened to emergent content? As for excessive griefing, I was banned for 7 days and it's not even defined in the TOS or user agreements. When asked to explain it, I was told, while I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of arguing TOS specific, suffice it to say within the TOS there is language that states players are subject to a loss of access for a variety of gameplay violation, and this is not something our rules of conduct make clear, and that Xylo has publicly commented on before as well. I have all my gameplay recorded for months, and I don't camp and kill people in hangars, yet I still got banned for it. Something that's not in the TOS, something not defined by the TOS, and something that they cannot give an answer about when asked. What excessive griefing actually is a catch-all term that they use when they cannot justify their actions or provide any evidence that is covered by the TOS user agreement. And that's not how you run a game, nor how you run a service department. Furthermore, none of these actions were taken against me until after I joined GameForNet to see what all the fuss was about. Guess what? Everything I did before, I still do, but now I get banned for it because of my org. It's the definition of targeted harassment and cyberbullying, and it's coming from a game company. Crazy. However, there's a line where the issue will issue warnings, and particularly to groups that take it to the extreme. Why even call it a PvP game? What's the point in hiring security? There are no groups whose primary focus is taking down events, just something that they do sometimes when the months of infiltrations finally provide some fruit. Who cares if it took these bobs months to plan something? It takes equally us months to infiltrate these things. How are we the bad guys for being effective in a takedown of an event that paid millions for security? They knew we were coming. They planned for it and still failed. How can we be punished at the game for playing the game better? Why do you never bring up the fact that they were offered by us to pay us off so that we would not hit them, and they refused? It's kind of crazy. You say it takes minimal effort for 50 people to stage in gates for 3 hours to wait and find the location and get it torpedoed. Were they not put into the game so that for that express purpose, for nuking big ships? Not to mention that they could have used countermeasures or have their security shoot it down. Like, what are you even saying here? We are bad at balancing the game, so PvP can bet you a ban because we screwed up. You know, it's important to understand that the recent warnings were directed at a specific group. Yeah, we know, but that group is not the only one. As it stands right now, you're in active communication with the group on almost a weekly basis, and there's an entire database of your rules and comments that is searchable. You say the change isn't permanent, but you should have never even been an option in the first place. Trying to single out one group and blame everything on them is a huge problem, guys. If you take us out, worse people who don't care about talking to your staff and working with you are going to rise up, and you will simply not be able to stop them. The only logical way to go from here would be to retract these bad rules and limit players' abilities to cry to support about in-game issues and stop policing PvP altogether in any way so that the weaker player base understands space is trying to kill you. It's not our fault. We understand the game and play it great and can take down groups 10 times our size. We should not be punished for being good and effective. So think about that. Think about it. You know, like, this is only just like the very, very beginning, right? And this is me 3 days ago. This is something that I would normally get banned for even say, because I'm discussing moderation activities. I'm fucking calling them dumb. I'm calling them basically everything under the book. But at this particular point, they got to start to realize is that we're a lot smarter than they are. We have a lot more going for us. They might have a lot of money behind them. This is a situation that covers a lot more because sure, we're the bad guys, but doing this to the bad guys affects everyone else equally. And it creates a situation where the situation in Star Citizen has been and always will be the content creators. Ever since game companies started taking content creators and elevating them, they've created these inequities that create these problems within these games because they create a protected class of gamer that shouldn't have never exist. Go watch Rust. Do you think that they treat the Rust content creators the same way? No, they still hook them up with stuff and let them participate, but they don't do anything for the streamers that would be anything different than they would do for a player. The fact that CIG is doing this shit is almost untenable to think of. Like, we're savages, right? We like having fun within a game. But at the same time, they need to understand that a player that we call a Bob that only runs cargo all the time has no idea what it means to be a pirate and how a pirate should act. So I shouldn't be fucking hearing from them about how I should be pirating them because I'm a pirate. I pirate the way I like. And the way I like to pirate is blowing your fucking shit up and killing you and just taking what's left. Because I don't even want to fucking deal with you. That's how I do it. Because it's the easiest for me. Sure, I could blow you up and try to call you and LARP with you. But I don't want to do that because that's a waste of my fucking time. Okay? So I don't. And I will never understand why these people exist like that. You know? Like, I've seen such a large amount of individuals crying about things that happened to them. And I bring up Expat Brat because just the other day, wow, somebody just said something right here. Wow, I didn't even know somebody just subscribed to me tier 1 on Twitch. What the fuck? Library Science? You subscribing to me over here, dog? What's up? What's up? That was like an hour ago. I missed it. That's fucked up. I missed it. Cool, man. And then we actually did get another thing. I had to stop all of my alerts because the people that hate me were abusing them. They were abusing them to say very, very nasty, naughty things. That's okay. I guess thank you. I appreciate you. Appreciate you guys. And then somebody sent me a PayPal message, so I'll have to go check that out. Hold on. I need to fix this rig. 1080 by 1920. Those. Realize, why is that all messed up? Oh, and he sent me a PayPal message. Let me check. That's better. That's better. Ah. Now let's go see. This is a live stream from Expat Brat. So Expat Brat was flying around Microtech or something like that, and I was already at a location, and she jumped into my location. And I was like, wait a minute. I recognize that fucking name. That's Expat Brat. That's the bitch from the experience that was talking all that shit. Well... check this out. It's a 20-minute clip. 22 fucking minutes of this person bitching their fucking face off because I killed them.
Oh shit, I'm being locked on. What the hell? Uh-oh. That was 4.
Oh shit, I'm being locked on.
It's got to be a player.
It's got to be a player.
Yeah, we're being targeted by a player. I've got no eyes on it, guys.
I fucked their ship up.
Down.
That's 8 missiles right there worth of damage. I made him a hot dog. They have no engines.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, I'm really scared of this person, right?
No way to target.
Defango committed unauthorized interdiction against you.
Defango.
So they're just gonna jump out of their ship?
Go.
There's me.
Oh, a cutlass red. Interesting. It must have been a player in the area, guys.
Yeah, they're just a player in the area, and I recognized you and I murdered you. But everything was all good, right? Like they were just like, oh, there was just a player in the area, nothing to worry about. These things happen until
Get player names, guys. Let us see. Let us. Okay. No.
it went from that to this.
Ah, okay. No. It's fine, guys. No, it's what I expected. It's what I expected. It's what I expected. Stream sniped, guys.
You got stream sniped?
Stream sniped.
You got stream sniped? You got proof of that?
It was one of those Griftcast people.
Wait. How did I get there before you? How did I know where you were going? I was already there. Like, you looked my name up and you went from, I don't know who this guy is, to all of a sudden, oh no, this guy is targeting me and attacking me. And then it goes on from this point about 5 minutes in all the way to 22 minutes out of this person complaining about Star Citizen and talking about how they're going to report somebody to the staff because I killed them one time in a video game. And it's not like we don't already have beef or whatever, right? It's not like, I kill on sight. That's what I do. I see you and you're not my friend, or I don't know who you fucking are. You're dead. Shoot first. Ask questions later, right?
So we can go back and clip that. And it's just more evidence. More evidence.
More evidence for us to support people.
Of, stream sniping.
Yeah, dude, more evidence. Is it?
So,
like,
let me.
How's that evidence?
Let me message a couple of people.
Yeah, let's message a couple of people. Let's get the brigading system online. Let's get all the reports submitted, bitches.
I'm out in the middle of nowhere.
Hoes fucking mad, bro.
I'm just gonna message a couple of people.
Hoes be bad. Yeah. Let's just go even farther. Let's see.
Basically, their motto is to target streamers.
That's not our motto.
They want to basically target streamers and make sure the streamers can't stream Star Citizen.
What?
So,
Karen Citizen, dude.
There you go.
Wait. So, hold up. Let me read our motto real quick. Terrorists without borders. Yeah. What does this say? Whoever reads this, I'm sorry to disappoint you. Whatever event took place, whatever grievance the founders had, or whatever motivation that birthed this organization has long been forgotten. The only thing is the left was the hunger for indiscriminate violence, death, and disruption. Profit does not interest us. There will be no infiltrations. We are Griftcast. And then our manifesto is as such. Griftcast is a coalition of criminals of high caliber and thirst for combat in all forms. It is intended to be an underlying network for subterfuge, information, and community discontent. We classify ourselves as a terrorist organization and is a place dedicated to the disenfranchised with no ties to rules engagement or etiquette. Members are free to utilize every advantage afforded to them within the game. We specialize in interrupting community events, whether public or private. Our methods are varied to keep it interesting. At its core, Griftcast is about emergent content that incites genuine emotion from all parties involved. Activities are PvP focused, while behavior that violates the terms of services are prohibited. Morality and ethics are weighted very little. So, yeah, stream sniping isn't in our charter, right? Like, we don't care about that. That's not what our org is about. That's what the streamers try to make it about, because they're streamers. They got main character syndrome. They're number one. Anything that happens to them, the first thing that they do is automatically try to figure out something that's against the TOS to charge you with so that they can get support on their side, or when they're making these types of mass reports or whatever. But the reality here is that, guys, we're just fucking flying around and killing people, dude. We're flying around and killing people. And I mean, even more so, the more that we look at what's been happening with all the individuals, here's somebody from the Avenger Squadron named Schwang. Credit where credit is due. Griftcast is infamous enough to literally get special rules just for them. They should be added to the SC lore as a reward. Like Chris Roberts used to talk about getting famous for being in the first to beat some NPC boss, etc. Which is, you know, how we should be getting treated, right? Like, this is something that we should be dealing with, but we're not dealing with it, right? Challenge. You know, I know Bob actually had a challenge for us at one point, and I'm looking for it. I don't think I could put the public chat up, but I'm like searching for something because there was this thing, Starverse or something like that. We had this thing where we could actually go and look up a lot of the stuff that was said by CIG. I just can't remember what it was specifically called. I have a bookmark for it. Just give me one quick second to look that up. Yeah. Nope, I don't have it in here. Shit. So I gotta find it the good old fashioned way. Star Transcript, Star Citizen. Ah, yes, the Star Archives. I could go like this and type in the word griefer. And I could actually go and review a lot of the different things that were said by CIG in this particular thing, right? Where they do stuff and they talk about stuff.
Thinking right now. This is our current thinking about it. We are still talking about systems that are, you know, a bit in the future. It's like that. So we'll just.
Yeah, I am the reason that mattresses have tags.
I want to give that preface here before we get to it. Your question, your big $10,000 pyramid question. Was that the show? I don't know. What are your plans to identify and punish griefers while letting the pirates do their job?
Yep.
Yeah, dude, how are you gonna punish the griefers? Punish them.
There's a few things that we have in the plans right now which will improve this, and it will all start with our law system. And also, there's
2018.
It all starts with the definition of what we consider a pirate. Where does piracy become griefing, and where do we draw the line? We definitely not necessarily want to encourage piracy, but we definitely want to have it there. It needs to be there. There's people who love doing it, and if you're able to mine over and over with no challenge, with no interesting things getting your heart pumping, it becomes boring after a while. So piracy has its purposes. We want these people to be trying to catch a miner off his guard, or without any guards and patrols around them that are trying to keep him alive.
So, you know, when we go back and we look at what Star Citizen has said about griefing and PvP, we could look it all up in all of their different areas, and we can see that they obviously had stuff put into place. They created a law system, which we currently have in the game. They've created physicalized cargo to make piracy and all this stuff happen. And now that we're actually doing it, because we're too good at it, we're not allowed to do it anymore the ways that we've decided. So we're not allowed to attack big events anymore because we're griefing him too hard. I went too big going after the Daymar rally, and we all got fucked up. And then we got this expat brat person that is just, you know, it is the definition of a Karen. Okay, these people are definitions of Karens, and it's crazy to think that Cloud Imperium Games cares more about what they have to offer than what they're actually offering. Right? They care more about the reports and shit than they do actually about the emergent content, where it was really great media that we showed up and blew them up that way so that they could have, I don't know, maybe thought about a better way of handling the security they paid $145 million for. But no, they just do it the exact same way every single time, and they keep getting blown up, and it's apparently our fault. Even though it's not even us that's blowing them up all the time. Kind of crazy, right? They say that griefing and occupational hazards and all this other stuff is a problem.
We hope that's enough to kind of ward off the griefers.
We changed
hope
how
it's
the
enough to
ending
ward off the
kind of happened.
griefers.
Before, it was very like, you got an audio line saying please leave, and then that was kind of reoccurred. We also added this to the HUD so players can see actively a please leave. When any player leaves the area, the mission will complete for them, and they'll get all their extra rewards that were required. One thing we noticed.
Yeah, they just don't like us. Like, I even went in here with PvP slider. And that's something that they said that they were going to have back in the day. They were talking about having a PvP slider so you didn't have to worry about it. And if you go back and you look at it, you can see that in 2015 they were talking about a PvP slider, and then they didn't talk about it again till 2020. And now it's 2024, and they're about to be probably talking about it again because, well, yeah, they don't like the PvP anymore.
How much, if the players are gearing more towards PvP, you know, based off their actions, then that's more of the content that we would be pushing towards them, you know, whether those be bounties or assassination missions or those types of things.
Okay.
But if the players are not geared towards that, then, you know, that to me is basically their choices matter, you know, in kind of the content that we're providing towards them and pushing, you know, towards them. So, and then as far as, you know, even just how the fights play out. So let's say you and I are fighting PvP, and let's say I have a warrant, you know, for my arrest because I've been a bad boy, and you kill me, you know, so therefore the reward that you're getting, you know, for taking me out should be higher because it's you're going up against another player. You know, that's.
They just don't like PvP anymore.
The PvP
it's too much of a problem with them.
An internal tool instead of a forward-facing tool for the players. Used to determine what type of missions and everything that are available to it. It's almost like seems like a reputation meter, sort of like if you get higher PvP reputation, we provide you more PvP opportunities, and if you have a lower PvP reputation, then we provide you more PvE opportunities.
Yeah. The more I look into it, the more that it just makes me wonder what we're going to be going with. So, you know, for the most part, Star Citizen is in a really, really weird place, I would have to say, because it's been overrun by just the most lackluster support team that I have literally ever seen in my entire life. Like, I've had correspondence with Dracadius and Gorb and a couple of these other people, and honestly, I don't think that I've ever actually interacted with people of this caliber before. This low of caliber, I would have to say. Like, it's just kind of insane to me that these people even get hired for their jobs when they create the problems for themselves. Like, every time you change the TOS or it being a PvP game, you can't blame the player base for how they play your game if that's the way that you intended it to work in the game. And sure, you can keep changing shit in the game to make it better. Eventually, you're going to figure out that you're just wasting your fucking time. There's a reason that all of these other games have very clear-cut definitions about what's reportable and what's not. Because if you don't, well, Star Citizen's what happens. There's a reason that you don't treat streamers as a protected class of citizen, because they'll abuse your reporting systems and create even bigger problems for you. And to them, they thought it was just going to be easy. We'll just ban Griefernet for a little bit and it'll be fine. You know, we'll put our thumb on them. But what they didn't realize is that we have a lot more support from the community at large. And whatever we do, whatever affects us is just a microcosm of what's going to affect them. And that's how it's worked for a very, very long time. Everyone's Griefernet. Everyone. Anybody who kills anybody in this game gets labeled Griefernet, even if they've never, ever been a part of our group. And it's something to think about. We've essentially become the eldritch horrors of the Star Citizen universe, to the point where CIG, the company that makes the game, has to change how they police the game just for us, because we're apparently too successful. We're apparently too good. Us taking on the best pilot in the game, Avenger 1, and beating the shit out of his little group to the point where they actually had to call in backup. Yeah, that really scares them, because they thought, well, as long as we have all these like good PvP orgs that are protecting everything, we'll be fine. But when your boy Defango starts flying around and 5v1ing the best pilots in the verse and winning, they start worrying about it. Because I sandbag, you know, whenever I fight players in my org, I make sure I lose, because I like to keep their heads big, right? That's the whole point. I'm not the boss. I'm not supposed to even be a capo or a yonko or anything like that. I'm just a little bitch. That's the character I play. I'm good sometimes when I need to be. You know, I'll cut it out. You know, I'll fucking stop sandbagging for a second if I feel it's necessary. But part of the fun for me is sandbagging, because I want to know how good the people around me are. Because I never play video games to be the best. I play video games to have fun. Right now, fortunately, I'm not having any fun in my favorite video game anymore, because it's become just like the politics and all this other crap that sucks. So, I don't know. That's what's going on, guys. That's what's fucking happening. That's why it's a big deal. But the thing is, it's like I'm not coming out with a lot of this stuff still, because it's not the right thing to do. But, you know, when I read these messages, while we've had a cordial back and forth for quite some time, the suspect of your organization's gameplay styles, I stated before, the boundaries remains gray, and some things may not be a problem until they become one. In this case, it has become a problem. As I've explained in my previous message, your disruptions have become too disruptive. And I ask that you back down on your gameplay behavior. Regardless of what is cited in the TOS, EULA, and Rules of Conduct, explicitly, ultimately, CIG determines what is and what is not acceptable on our platform, and we include a clause in the TOS which explicitly states that the listed items are not a comprehensive list. Behavior and actions that are deemed detrimental to the service and gameplay experience are subject to penalty. We're really not at any point of discussion on this topic anymore. Large-scale disruptions will be met with sanctions against those committing them. This is not a unilateral decision I have made. This is a result of months of internal discussion between myself, Deb's community, and leadership. And that's from Dracadius, the account administration lead. And this was sent to one of the members in our organization that handles all the reports and stuff like that, because we actually have a legal representative that handles all of our reports and stuff like that. That's how fucking good we are. Yeah, we're smart enough to know that we need a fucking legal guy that literally talks to some fucking support on a weekly basis to deal with all this shit. Because unlike some of these other groups out there, we are the devil you know. And we actually listen to what's happening. But after certain points of time, we kind of just go and do our own thing now, don't we? Because We have definitive proof that this is just for us. They're doing this because of us. Because of us. Think about that, guys. And with no uncertain terms, right there in that paragraph, they said everything that they needed to say. We ultimately determine what is good and false, what's right and wrong, and we can do whatever we like. It doesn't matter if it's not in the EULA. It doesn't matter if it's not in the TOS. It doesn't matter if it's not in the rules of conduct. We have a little spot over here that says, oh, it's not a comprehensive list and we can make determinations. Well, guys, just to let you know, there's court precedents on this stuff, and that doesn't cover it. It doesn't cover it in Canada, doesn't cover it in the EU, and it definitely don't cover it in the United States. So you could try to force people into arbitration, but eventually all they have to do is sit through the arbitration time and then sue you right afterwards anyway, and you're fucked. I mean, there's not a lot of really good legal professionals that are part of GrieferNet. I got a bunch of individuals that have huge egos and think that they're really great and rich and stuff, and I love fucking around with them. But, like, they're never going to be as good as me. They're never going to be as smart as me. And nobody's trying to make them. We just try to educate them as to how it could be possibly done. And, you know, being the guy that's beaten the most expensive lawyers in the world without even trying or, you know, having a legal degree or anything like that, I think that we would be able to effectively shit fuck CIG if we really wanted to. The only thing that's really barring that from happening is the fact that we still have too many egotistical fucktards that aren't that smart, that think they're really smart in our organization, that think that, you know, what little old Fandangle has to say isn't really worth it. But the fact of the matter is that, yeah, we can fix this pretty easily. My one comment did more damage to CIG than anybody else could ever imagine. And that's only the first one. You know, as soon as they reply again, as soon as they do something else again, I'm going to let out another diatribe that is going to acquire all of the information that I need. And then we might actually be able to move forward, but I'm not moving forward on my own. Like, it's either going to be all the boys or it's going to be none of the boys, because I'm not wasting my time for myself. Not wasting my time for myself. So think about it this way. You know, we have CIG doing some bad stuff to us, making some horribly bad decisions for the game. We have a bunch of toxic streamers and YouTube creators and stuff that are trying to, like, psyop everybody to think everything is okay. But the reality is not. Because at the end of the day, people are getting banned for PvP in a PvP game. And that's not okay. That's not how it works. That's not how it should work. And if they don't want it to be a PvP game, please fucking let us know, because as soon as you make it a PvE game and it's completely different from what you guys marketed in your Kickstarter and for the last 10 years, oh man, that's going to be a fucking lawsuit you're never going to win. So tread carefully, CIG. You have a lot of really big decisions. You have a really shitty legal team that's really allowing you to put yourself into bad positions. And I really do hope that you listen to the voice of reason and someone who is most definitely smarter than every single person that works for you, and do the right thing. Because if not, well, y'all are going to be needing to looking for new jobs, and the best damn space game that ever was is never going to make it out, because Chris Roberts decided to let some people with mental instability issues and run their departments, dude. I mean, who the fuck lets a streamer run their player relations department and then still let that person stream on Twitch and talk shit about people that pay them money and play the game with a little thing that says, oh, don't ask me about the game, but the entire time that he's in there, he's talking shit about players in the game. Yeah. Doesn't seem smart, but don't worry, it's all collected and recorded and waiting. I just hope that you guys do the right thing and, just say, you know what? We're not taking PvP reports anymore. Deal with it. And then, the stream sniping thing, we're going to get rid of that shit too, because this dude's right. Fuck the streamers. If they want to fucking stream our game and promote our content, great. They aren't the ones that are making us the money. Oh, no. No, they're not. And don't let them fucking try to make it seem like they are, because those little shit fucks aren't even making more money than me. And I'm on YouTube, and I don't even make Star Citizen videos, and I can make more money than these guys. And I run the best worst show on the net. Like, you're gonna listen to them, the fucking dipshits that can't make money, over me, the guy that makes money and doesn't even try half the time. Like, are you fucking stupid? Like, that's where I'm at, dude. That's where we're at. It's where we're at. Why listen to the bottom feeders? I don't know. Why listen to the scabs? Why listen to the people that are trying to abuse you and take advantage of you? I don't know. They'd rather listen to them than the people that tell them how it is. Just like that. I'm just predicting the future to you, and it's going to come out like that. You have legitimately less than a month to fix this issue, and if you don't fix it in a month, by this time next year, shit's gone. It's all over. So we're going to keep putting on the pressure in the only ways that we know how. And I guess now that you guys have a little bit more of an understanding of what's going on, because it is kind of big. It is kind of big. But it's not the biggest. Not the biggest, dude. It is not the biggest. But, there's two things that I saw over the last couple of days that really made me wonder, something really bad is happening over at CG, because they fired Todd Pappy, and he used to be the staff member that was in charge of the live servers. He was in charge of the public universe, the persistent universe that everybody plays on. He was the main guy. He got fired. And right after he gets fired, the worst possible decision that CIG's ever made about how PvP operates in the game was made. So they fired Todd Pappy, and then they went against everything that they've said about PvP for the last couple of months. And then here's from Papa Freedom. It's recently come to my attention that GrieferNet is in the hot seat with CIG. Many of their members have received 7-day bans for excessive griefing and gameplay disruption. GrieferNet is trying to rally the PvP community to their defense. Do not be fooled by their manipulation of words. We have never supported GrieferNet, has done, and nor will we ever defend them when they get exactly what they've been asking for. The PvP community is not being threatened, nor is anyone other than GrieferNet at risk for these bans. I personally do not support in any way, shape, or form any of the actions of GrieferNet. They are getting exactly what they asked for. Fuck around and find out, or you reap what you sow. Blackfeet stands apart from GrieferNet and fully supports CIG's decision to give a 7-day temp bans. Honestly, IMO, I would encourage CIG to extend the bans. To my few friends at GrieferNet, it's time to find new homes. Don't go down with that ship. It's not worth it. Attaches the ban report and the conversation, which was randomly DM'd to me today. Yeah, it wasn't randomly DM'd to you today, Papa fucking dumbass. Papa dumbass. Oh. See Papa Freedom right there? What is this? It's evident they, CIG, are not ready to clarify and define these blurred lines in the systems as gameplay. Hey, Papa Freedom. It's a little weird. You said one thing privately, but then you're saying a completely different thing publicly. CIG's never been clear about the support PvP and SC should have and the risk that you can be caught in a PvP situation even when these law system and reputation systems are in place. From one event organizer to another, I don't know how difficult it is to defend against all of the possibilities of attacks. Papa Freedom's one of the guys that was running security for the Daymar rally, and it was just so great killing him and the rest of his friends. I approve this message. For the goal of the wider PvP community to understand a healthier way to interact with each other. Interesting. See that right there? We respectfully await your response. So that's how like toxic the CIG, the Star Citizen community is. Papa Freedom is an org leader of the Black Fleet, also involved with Atmos Esports and pretty much any other fucking shitty event that is put on that I could do in my sleep better. Yeah, like most of these guys, they only know about any of this stuff because it happened to us. And in private, they are like, yeah, fuck these guys. We're not even going to do this. But in public, unlike a big post, they got a completely different story because they only really care about what's happening to them. They'll tell everyone in private, don't support them. Don't. It has nothing to do with us. But then at the other end, actually, it has everything to do with them. Isn't that weird? So swampy. Yeah. You know, the $800 million game with all these people that spend $10,000 to $50,000 on fucking JPEGs. And it's like unbelievable to see the level of like, or the lack of level of intelligence that exists across the plane. Like, I, for one, just don't even understand how any of this is even happening. But at the same time, I've seen it before. We'll see it again. It's never gonna fucking change, dude. It's never gonna change. So that's pretty much it for tonight. If you like what we do here, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, share this with your friends. The best worst show, the best griefing show, and the number one griefer, almost number one griefer in Star Citizen is now done. And now you know what's going on. You know the drama and the bits and pieces that are important. And I mean, it's kind of crazy, dude. Premeditated, you'll get banned for it. You kill somebody in a video game that's PvP oriented, you get banned for it because you're too good. Oh, you can't keep hitting all of these streamers and stuff. We need all the free advertising so we don't fucking run out of money, even though we haven't been able to file our taxes. I can't believe it. But that's it. Bye, everybody. Have a good night. See you later. Be well, my friends. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, or do whatever the fuck you want. Don't really care. Either way, have a wonderful evening, and